Salutations, crustaceans. I'm Lobster, and welcome to episode 1 of my Guitarcheologist series, hence the hat. My goal with the series is to shine the spotlight on some really interesting basses that are no longer in production. And for episode 1, we're going to be taking a look at the Lakland Jerry Scheff Signature Skyline. Let's check this thing out. This is the Lakland Skyline Jerry Scheff Signature. This particular one finished in a gorgeous gold. Shoreline gold, is it? I don't remember the gold, but it's gold and it's nice. The Lakland Jerry Scheff Signature is a very interesting bass. It features a very odd combination of parts, and the design itself is very polarizing. Not only is this using Kent Armstrong lipstick pickups, but they are spaced very far apart. And not everyone was really digging the look of that, but I personally think it is a gorgeous bass and it sounds so good as well. Having the pickups far apart like this gives it a ton of tonal versatility. And, well, why don't I just show you guys? You guys know what you need to do. Go ahead and pinch that like button so my hand will turn back to normal. Thanks. Not bad. This particular example is strung up with some TI flats, and that's not my usual string choice, but they sound really good. So the Lakland Skyline series, especially at this time, was known for its affordability and high quality construction. Dan Lakin and his team did whatever they could to deliver an affordable, quality instrument, and this one is no exception. For the tuners, you had Hipshot ultralights, you had the big ol' Lakland bridge down here, and for the preamp, you had the Bartolini NTMB or NMTB L918, which is the exact same preamp that you get in the USA Lakelands back then. And then on top of that, you had these two really interesting and, in my opinion, gorgeous Kent Armstrong lipstick pickups. You may remember I featured the Kent Armstrong lipstick pickups in my LowEndLobster Surf and Turf build, which raised some money for the NAACP. And this bass is where I got the inspiration from, so yeah, these pickups are pretty cool. In regards to construction materials, this stuff is top-notch as well. You have a one-piece maple neck, a rosewood fretboard, and an ash body. This thing is well balanced, it's not too heavy, not too light, and it feels really nice. This preamp also features two little dip switches in the control cavity to switch up your mid frequencies. And if you want to know which configurations are which, there's a handy little diagram on the control cavity cover. This preamp also has a push-pull volume knob for a preamp bypass. So now it's in full passive mode. Let's check out these pickups individually and then let's explore this preamp a little bit. Here is the neck pickup first. So there is a little bit of single coil hum because they're single coil pickups. I don't believe there's any sort of hum canceling technology in these. They're there for that old school tone, and with that comes old school drawbacks. So here is the neck pickup in passive mode. Very nice. Definitely has some old school thump to it. Now let's check out the bridge pickup real quick. Very nice. Now let's go back to center and check out this preamp a little bit. This bass is a lot of fun to play. Anyways, that is with the preamp all the way cut. Let's go ahead and just boost the bass right now, see what that sounds like. Not bad. Oh, hi there. Now let's go ahead and bring the bass up to, I would say, 50%. So halfway between the center notch, which is, I'm assuming, centered, and full boost. Not bad, it's not too boomy, and you don't lose a lot of definition and clarity from the tone. Let's go ahead and cut that all the way and check out this mid control. Here's the mid centered. That sounds good. Now let's go ahead and boost the mids 50%. So again, halfway between 100%, all the way boosted, and the center notch, which is centered. Now let's go ahead and cut those mids entirely and check out this treble control. Here is just the treble centered. Not bad. It doesn't sound too harsh and too screechy, so I appreciate that. This preamp is well tuned. Now let's go ahead and boost the treble to 50%. So again, halfway between the center notch and all the way boosted. Now let's bring that down to center and bring everything else up to center as well. So here's the preamp centered across the board. Not bad at all. Now I'm just going to cut the mids a little bit, boost the bass and the treble. Let's see what that sounds like. That sounds good. Now let's slap this real quick and then throw some drums behind it. This sounds interesting slapped with flats, that's for sure. If you want to find out more about Jerry Scheff, be sure to check out his book, and that'll be linked in the description below. I mean, the guy toured with Elvis, so he has some stories. Also, stay tuned because we have an interview with Dan Lakin talking about how he connected with Jerry and how this bass came to be. So stay tuned for that. Salutations, crustaceans. I'm Lobster, and I am here once again with the Dan Lakin, the founder of Lakland Basses and D. Lakin Guitars and many other ventures, and we are here to talk about the Jerry Scheff Signature Edition from Lakland Basses. Thanks for joining me, Dan.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
So these are relatively rare and now very sought-after instruments. People really dig the, I guess, unique components with the Armstrong pickups, the odd spacing, and just the very different vibe of this instrument compared to everything else that was coming out at the time. Especially, I mean, it shared the same body shape with the, with the 44 and 55s, but it was very different, and we want to explore that today. So, how did this all get started? How did the relationship with Jerry begin, and how did you design this?
Okay, well, I met Jason Scheff, 97 maybe? It could have been 98. I think it was, anyway, so Jason came through when he was playing with Chicago, and it was great to meet him, and he saw the stuff we were doing, and he said my dad would really like this stuff, and obviously I knew who his dad was, so I was very excited. So that was my in through Jason, and I just had an unsold 494, and put it in a box and got it to Jerry, and he was pleased to get it, and enjoyed it and liked it, and we decided to work together on a model. So, you know what, I met Jerry in 97, but then we did the Osborne and we did some signature stuff, and then I realized it would be a great thing to get Jerry on board with that kind of a signature thing. So we started talking about a design, and he was telling me at the time, before he had used Lakland's, he'd been using a Jerry Jones Dan Electro style bass, and he really liked the lipstick pickups. He liked the way they looked and liked the way they sounded. It was a short scale bass, and he wasn't entirely at home with that. So we basically decided to take what he liked about the Jerry Jones and put it on a 34-inch scale bass. And another thing is he would plug the Jerry Jones into a Sadowski outboard preamp before sending it to the recording desk, whatever you want to call it. So he was, in essence, had an active bass, or an active setup. So he liked the ergonomics of our bass, of the 494. So we left that. We went, and I don't know which model Jerry Jones, but it was one that had a pickup right under the neck, and then one closer to the bridge. I'm trying to remember if that's what it was exactly. But we determined that, the farther distance between the pickups, the better, the bigger variation of tone. And Jerry wanted to be able to get a lot of different tones out of the bass. So that's how we ended up with that. As far as the pickups themselves, Kent Armstrong, we couldn't find the lipsticks in any other one. What we liked about the Armstrongs is that they have ears like jazz bass pickups. Mm-hmm. So we could use a jazz bass route, and then if people wanted regular jazz bass pickups, they could switch back and forth. So it was an aesthetic thing. Jerry liked the lipsticks. We also used the chrome knobs. So it was a little different than what we were doing on the 494 side. And he liked it, and he liked it. so we brought it to market.
And what came first? So I understand that there was both the U.S. model and a Skyline model.
Yeah, I got to test my. I believe we certainly made a few of the U.S. ones before we offered the Skyline version. Skylines came about in 2002, 2001. So I think we made it as a U.S. base exclusively, just because we didn't have Skylines when we started. So.
Okay, and then in regards to the preamp, I know you guys started out with the Bartolini preamp. What made you guys move over to the Hanson preamp?
Well, that was a major move. Bartolini had been holding us up with some delivery issues. We would have a lot of basses waiting. They were always seemed to be behind. They were really nice people, and I loved them, but they were getting in the way of what we were doing. And one of the partners who owned a small portion of Lakland decided he wanted to get involved in a different type of work, and we looked into him learning how and building pickups, and we had a preamp designed by a Chicago area electronics designer who was basically, we were trying to do pretty much like what the Bartolini did, but with a little more of a passive sound, a little more open sounding. So we changed everything that had the Bartolini preamp after, I believe it was 2004, or 2004, 2005, everything switched over. So it wasn't that particular model. We wanted something different. It was the whole thing. We stopped using Bartolini and began using the Hanson.
And was the Hanson, I guess, a precursor to the in-house Lakland?
No, the Hanson was the Lakland preamp. Hanson is the partners who was the Piercellos.
I gotcha.
Their mother's maiden name. So, so Hanson is the Lakland preamp.
Gotcha. And so this was, I guess, given the success of all the other Lakland models, a relatively short-lived signature model. Tell us about, I guess, why you think that is.
Well, we had a review and bass player that I was not happy with. I don't remember. I mean, the author's name. It doesn't matter. It was the magazine. There was a comment that said, and I don't have it. I should have looked it up before we talked, but I haven't read it in a long time. Don't know that I ever want to read it again. But it made reference that it was not a very versatile bass, and I took objection because of all the basses we made, as far as a different tone from the neck pickup versus the bridge pickup. If you look at the bass and how far the pickups are apart, it was done so you could get a big, deep, low sound of the neck pickup, whereas the bridge pickup was super punchy and tight. And I think the bass does that. But, so why the author of the review said it wasn't versatile, I can't answer. They give you a copy of the review before they print it, and I made my unhappiness with it known, but they didn't change anything. So, I mean, one thing, it's good. A magazine has integrity, and that's it. They have an opinion. That's their right to have the opinion. But I didn't think it was, I didn't agree with his opinion. And so I think that hurt it. And we just had a lot of things in the lines, and at some point, some models sell better than others. So I don't remember at what point we stopped making it, or we just stopped getting orders for it or whatever.
Yeah, because I remember around the same time, you guys were also you guys had the Daryl Jones, which was a huge hit.
Yeah, the Daryl was very successful. All the signature models were the Duck Dunn did well too.
Oh yeah.
And we were making everything, and Jerry was part of our 10th anniversary in 2005. So I know we made it up through then. So yeah. But, it was great to work with Jerry. I mean, I give him a plug. I don't know if you've read this, but read it. If you're a bass player and you're interested in bass or whatever, this is a great book. His stories, I mean, he came to Chicago, I think specifically once when we were putting together the final, the signature models for him to test and make sure he liked. And just having a chance to have dinner with him and hang out and to hear the stories that are in this book firsthand was incredible. And I mean, if you listen to him, I have a playlist on Spotify. I think it's public, just Jerry Scheff. I mean, he did so many amazing things in rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
And, obviously the Elvis stuff he did, and the stuff he did with like T-Bone Burnett in the 90s, and Sam Phillips is an artist he worked with a lot, and a lot of records he did with Elvis Costello and the Doors, and now, it goes on and on. And there's good reason. He's amazing. And when we did our 10th anniversary, his set, and it's available on YouTube, 10th anniversary. What I did was I had each signature guy come up and play in front of a band where we played 5 songs from each artist that like Jerry was the original bass player on it. We did an association tune, Along Comes Mary, and he did Suspicious Minds. He's not the original bass player on the studio version, but he played it live with Elvis a lot. And if you listen to him at the end of that, any live version, it's just off the charts. He's so great. And he really stole the show at the anniversary, and he did The Doors, LA Woman.
Yeah, everyone, check out the video of Jerry Scheff over at the 10th anniversary Lakland show. That's going to be linked down below, and I'm also going to leave an Amazon link to Jerry Scheff's book as well. Be sure to check that out if you guys are book people. And it's, full of great bass stories, and you won't be able to get him anywhere else. I mean, he's played with many of the greats. Given how Jerry has such a tremendous past and I guess repertoire of people he's played with, would you say that this bass was designed, I guess, with the pickups at such extremes in order to be able to tackle pretty much whatever was thrown his way?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I mean, Jerry pretty much sounds like Jerry. When you listen to the recordings, he's got a very distinctive sound. He played with one finger, and I don't know. Don't know what else to say. He's just one of the greatest players that has ever lived.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dan, for your time and talking about this really great bass that Lakland produced. And I look forward to talking with you again and in our next chat.
Thanks.
Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, join our Discord, and just let me know what you think about this whole guitarcheologist idea. I really like exploring these out-of-production instruments that had some sort of significance, and this one definitely had some significance. So let me know what you think, and until we groove again.